thing was get them more robust.
Yeah.
All right. We'll call our meeting to order. I always enjoy being at the middle school. It's such a unique age group, which presents unique challenges, but I think unique opportunities for educators. And I've always had a soft place in my heart for middle school educators because I think they do have quite a challenge in front of them. Normally, we start with the superintendent's report and a recognition, but I've got special dispensation to do one of my own recognitions this morning, or this evening. because I discovered something I was totally unaware of, something that somebody's been doing behind the scenes for a number of years. I was at Gilbert and Ivy, and I was looking, they had a display of Battle of the Books books, which I've always appreciated, and I bought 3 of them because they always pick such great books. And I said, oh, my kids all did this. It used to be hosted by Schoolcraft. And I said, who's doing it now? And the owner said, well, Tamara Young. And I said, I had no idea. And I asked Tamara, she's been doing it for 5 years now. This is a labor of love. It's not in her job description. And the benefits of it are just huge. She had this year 20 teams, and I counted 111 students reading 12 books. And even if my kids never got to the grand battle, which I attended last week, and they were really ticked off that they never got to the grand battle.
You should ask him how many questions, how many answers he knew.
Well, I'll get to that. So of the 4 books, I read 3 recently and 1 a while ago, and of the questions asked on those 4 books, I didn't get any right. But these kids are really into it, and they're reading, and they may read books that they wouldn't normally pick, because Tamara does a wonderful job picking different types of books which appeal to different kids. And it's just a marvelous event. The kids are having a blast. They're really into it. This year, the winning team were all dressed as bananas, which is quite wonderful. But the benefit to have kids that excited about reading, to have 111 kids involved, it's a lot of work. I was so impressed with the Grand Battle event. It was so efficient. She's got it down like clockwork. You're in and out of there in a little over an hour. She did a fantastic job. And the extra bonus this year was, Dr. Basile, you want to mention who our winning team was? The Rockin' Banana Readers from Indian Lake. So there was an extra bonus there. But this is just a wonderful tradition, and it's run by volunteers, and I had no idea Tamara was up to this, and she's been up to it, so thank you very much.
You're welcome. The labor of love.
With that, I'll turn it over to Keith.
Well, thank you, Dave. It's great to see all of you here tonight, and I want to say welcome to everyone watching our live stream this evening as well. Very excited to be at the middle school, as Dave said. Looking forward to the reports we're going to hear later today in the agenda. I know we have a lot of good things going on in the district this week. It is Winter Homecoming Week, so I'm sure we had some wonderful not costumes, but fun dress-up days in all our buildings today. So hopefully, board, you can make it out this Friday to the high school for the games, and then all the festivities at halftime of the boys' varsity game. Correct, Adam?
Yeah. I got some Stripe tickets, too.
Yep, we have Stripe tickets as well. And then I think the dance kicked off Saturday. Good. Hopefully everybody had a great time.
But both the women and the men's team are playing homecoming at home.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to turn my attention to the legislative report. Again, very quiet in Lansing, but there are some important things going on. This Wednesday, February 11th, kicks off the budget season with Governor Whitmer presenting her executive budget recommendations. So we definitely anticipate a busy few months as the legislature works towards the July 1 deadline. If you recall, they struggled to meet the July 1 deadline this year. Hopefully they can get off to a good start this month. And part of that budgeting process is the data that was presented during the January Consensus Revenue Estimating Conference. Just wanted to go over a couple figures with everyone tonight. Overall general fund revenues are down slightly from the May 2025 projections. General fund 2.4% decrease, but on a good note, the school aid fund is at a 2.3% increase. And then so overall, the school aid fund revenue for the current fiscal year is slightly higher than the May estimate. And then looking ahead to next school year, projections for the general fund continue to be kind of dismal, a 0.4% decrease there. But in the school aid fund, they're projecting another increase of 2.3%. So that's good. But the one I really wanted to point out that they'll be using for their recommendations is projected enrollment. So for this school year, the state of Michigan had approximately 1,216,000 students registered. That is down 13,400 from the previous year. Looking ahead to next year, the state is projected to have a decline in enrollment of 11,600 more students. And then they look way out to 27, 28, another additional 11,800 students decline. So the projections for enrollment across the state are definitely on the decline. Also wanted to highlight, I've been passing along a lot of information, and I know you get a lot of information from MASB as well. The two bills, House Bill 4141 and Senate Bill 495, about banning cell phones in school. If you recall, we had a cell phone committee last year, and we've implemented some policy. And based on what I've been reading with these two bills, which are expected to be signed by the governor very soon, we are looking like we're right in line with what the state is going to require by law. But once the governor signs that, I definitely will be on the lookout for all the interpretations of the law to ensure that we're complying. And I believe that'll take effect for next school year. And then looking ahead to some Senate Education Committee meetings that have been taking place, one item of note, and I know the high school people here will have maybe been following this, but there's two bills, House Bill 4556 and House Bill 4557, would remove the SAT writing or the SAT essay portion from the Michigan Merit Exam. Now, some people might say, why would you do that? This will put us in line with pretty much most of the nation. There's only a few states that still allow that as part of the state testing. So stay tuned on that. Most supporters, including most of our associations, argue that the essay requirement is outdated, increases the testing time, reduces instructional time, and places a lot of stress on our students in a testing environment. So stay tuned on that. And lastly, I'd just like to draw your attention to some important dates. We have a lot going on this week and next. So we have the Kalamazoo Symphony Orchestra at the PAC tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Dusty may know a few more details. I think at 6 o'clock, is that the petting zoo?
6:30 is the beginning of the concert.
Oh, 6:30 is the show? Okay. And then they're doing some activities before, I believe?
Yeah, there's an instrument petting zoo. There's going to be artwork hung out by animals.
No pressure, Anna.
It'll be on display on a slide.
Okay, very good. And then tomorrow night as well, the Career Connect campus, K-RISA's CTE Center open house from 5 to 7:30. Highly encourage families in the community to head on out to that. That's a beautiful facility. This Thursday, we have the pre-festival band concert for the high school and the PAC. And then next week, we have Indian Lake 4th and 5th grade program on Monday, and then Toby's on Wednesday. Is that correct? Good. And then we have the middle school pre-festival band concert next week as well. And just a reminder to the board, our midwinter break is going to fall on Friday, February 27th. That is a no school day for students and staff. And with that, that's my report.
Very good. We'll move on to agenda item 2, reports and public inquiry, and we start with budget and finance. Mr. Goss.
Okay, just a couple quick items this evening. I'll go through the monthly budget progress report for the general fund, and this includes activity through the end of January or the first 7 months of our fiscal year. Just looking at revenue on a year-to-date basis, we stand at $15,432,980, or about 40% of the original budget. On the expenditure side, total expenditures stand at $17,855,161. That's about 45.74% of the original budget. You can see the breakdown there between instructional expenditures, support services, and other. And if I just look at the second page of that report, you can see a breakdown of those expenditures by object code. And you can see that salaries and benefits, which comprise a majority of our budget, stood at $14,284,272. And then you can see the breakdown for purchase services, supplies, capital outlay, and other. So again, 17,855,000 in terms of total expenditures, or about just under 46% of the budget. Any questions on that?
G&A and business seem to be running a little hot. Is that normal? Is it percent, or is it
So general administration and
just 64% of the budget's been spent already on business?
yeah,
I just
I'll have to
don't
go back and I can get you an answer on specifics on that, but sometimes it depends on the timing of certain things,
Sure.
as well as there's some things in there that we don't really control, like property tax abatements and that type of thing. So
Okay.
I can get you more detail on that.
It's right on line with last year's.
know. Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
66 last year at this time. We're actually a little less.
Thanks, Ron. Okay, yeah, that's helpful.
All right. All right, any other questions? All right, if not, then just a quick look at the investment schedule as of January 31st. Just a few comments, we continue to see rates come down a little bit, just a little bit, each month. Our two investment funds, and again, these are all liquid. Think they're essentially money markets for state government. Total amount of investments stood at $11,511,938, and you can see there's a breakdown there between each of the funds. And just as a reminder, each of those funds is, other than the general fund, the building and site and debt service funds, those funds are restricted as to how they can be used, and any of the earnings have to stay within those funds. So, we continue to earn a meaningful amount of investment income over the first 7 months. On a district-wide basis, we stood at just under $300,000. So.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out again that our budgeted federal income from federal sources is about $330,000, and next month we should hit that amount in just investment income. So your management of that is going to exceed the income we get from the federal government.
Yeah,
So it's significant.
Yeah, we try to maximize it as much as we can, and, I think we're gonna continue to see rates tick down, but we'll maximize those to whatever extent we can. And with that, that'll wrap up my report.
Wonderful, thank you. Any other questions for Steve before we move on? Okay. We have a number of course proposals, and I don't know if you want to go in the order they're written, if somebody has a pressing event they need to go. First up would be then the Design and Build Lab with Matt Bombich, and if you want to present what
Well, how about that, the rookie teacher?
you got the
Barely
short
ever even
straw.
taught, and here I am presenting a curriculum proposal. So, yes, we're proposing a new course this year. It's actually the expansion of the course that I'm teaching right now. The SIP code is the engineering SIP code, and we're going to just put a little bit of a different twist on it. So right now it's called Applied Engineering and Robotics. We're going to add one more section of that course, and then we're going to add 3 sections of the Design and Build Lab. This one will be a fun course, I certainly hope. We're going to still teach CAD principles, digital modeling, fabrication inside the shop, advanced tools like CNC machines. We have a CNC router, plasma cutter. So we've got a handful of projects that we'll be developing this summer that I hope to introduce to the class next year. Will they be making their own fidget spinners to start with? And then I've got a plan for some custom Christmas ornaments that should be just in time for the Christmas season, that they'll use a laser engraver to etch some Christmas ornaments. Some LED decorated wall art will be one of our projects. And then eventually we'll get into a little bit of coding and automation. Right now I have it proposed as an automatic plant watering system. We'll see how that goes, or it'll certainly be some form of automation and design from the ground up. So a little bit of code work in there as well. And then a capstone project where the students will be required to maintain, actually through the entire course of the year, they'll be maintaining a portfolio of their work, and then at the end of the year, they'll have a portfolio that they can present. Any questions about that?
Anyone with questions for Matt? I guess I had a question just in terms of budgeting, like art classes and some other things are consumables that we have every year. And I understand, is there some dedicated money, Steve, that, or grant money that we get for CTE classes?
Currently, there's not dedicated grant money for that. I mean, we do, I know that the high school is working on some CTE funding through the state, which can certainly help to offset that. It's difficult to estimate what those dollars are going to look like. Even when you talk to the state, they can't really share the formula with you. And it's always paid the following year. So, we're kind of waiting to see how that turns out. Yeah, we, are confident we can find a way to work it into the budget and then go from there.
Okay.
Can you partner with marketing and sell Christmas ornaments?
So you're not far off at all. Actually, I just had a discussion with one of our students today. She asked me if she should take a marketing class. And I said, absolutely. And here's why. I know you were interested in joining the robotics team, but that you have a hard time finding the time to do it. So this is how you can plug in. You can have one of your term projects be marketing for the robotics team. You can develop a marketing strategy and train 2 to 3 students around the robotics team, and then go door to door in the community and drum up some sponsorships for the robotics team. And I thought that would be an excellent project for the class, and certainly a great contribution to the robotics team. And what a feather in her cap, as a person who's interested in marketing.
Awesome.
Steve, it looks like there's a one-time capital improvements in the program of 9,000. Can that come out of some of the investment money that you spoke to, as those dollars are for capital projects?
Well, the bond, the investments that are in the capital projects funds, those would not be available for this, because this is a general fund. It wouldn't meet the criteria for a bond project, but certainly, we can look at, the general fund investment income or that type of thing.
Anything else? It's very exciting, and
I'm excited
You've been
about
off to
it.
a great start.
Great.
Next is the Karen Rickers with Hospitality and Tourism, right? Did I get the name right, I hope? Good.
You did.
Hello, I'm Karen Rickers. I'm the FACS teacher at the high school, and our proposed course that we're looking at is Hospitality and Tourism. It is a fast-growing industry, very project-based course. We're looking at making this a CTE course for our students, offering more electives, since we are seeing some students that are having some decisions that they have to make going into the real world. So this was a great opportunity to have a very huge umbrella of opportunities for our students. Some of the things we're looking at are like management, customer service, even a culinary side, business to business, design, graphic or interior, travel and tourism, event planning. Those are some of the things we'll focus on for this class. Some other things, this will look at applying real world scenarios. So they will get hands-on learning. Our goal too is to partner with members of the community. Specifically, I believe it's the mill. There's a new mill coming in with some great opportunities for our students to do work-based learning with them. Some things that we're looking at also is we're finding a lack of communication, teamwork, professional skills. This would be a great opportunity for our students to improve on those things, become more confident, and explore career pathways. Because we do have about 300 students that are unknown, and we really want all of them to have some sort of guide and pathway as they graduate high school. The possibilities, the things that we're looking at, these are transferable skills, long-term career pathways, college and career prep, because these are jobs they could either walk right out of high school with a certification, which we're looking at, possibly ServSafe certification, so I would be trained in that, and I could train my students, and they can go right into the workforce. Other possibilities are training them and preparing them for college, so they can go into higher management positions, and possibly any type of design or business to business. They also will have financial literacy. They will learn pricing, marketing, and budgeting. So again, life skills that they will need, but also help them in their career. Another thing is, again, just creating those relationships and life skills, community engagement. Maybe providing some volunteer opportunities as well in our community, because there's a lot of businesses out there, and this does have an umbrella of things that they can do.
Great. Any questions?
Karen, I have a question for
Sure.
you. So I did look and see, like, do we even need people in this career? Like, where are we? Kind of like with nursing, we are
Yeah.
very short
Yes.
in nursing.
Yes.
So anybody want to do that, do it. And it looks like this is an area that is very, I don't know if you'd say it's understaffed, or, you know, we need people in this field.
Yes.
So I think that's great. But what is the, like, minimum number of students that need to, like, choose this as an elective to have the class? Like, do you believe you're gonna have enough interest, I guess?
Yes.
Is that how you?
Yes,
what would
I
ask?
do. I mean, I've already got students signing up. I have students that have come to me. I mean, I started interior design as a class this year, and I was packed. I have 30. So I
Okay.
have returning students that want to take my class. They're very interested. I have students I don't even have that have come up and asked me about the class, what's it involved in, and then I'm getting communication from the counselors as well, that the
Nice.
students are
Okay.
very interested in the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we started scheduling last week with our current juniors, so we'll have those numbers for our sophomores and our freshmen from spring years.
But you're only gonna have one
Right
class?
now, we're thinking two sections.
And
Yeah.
it's freshman through senior can take it?
Yeah, it'll be mostly upperclassmen though. Yeah, it's a fourth related math because it's a CT class too.
Okay,
Yeah, so you'll have seniors that take it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Anything
you.
else?
When I think tourism, I think of museums. You know, is there any conversation with trying to explore that side of tourism, not just the hospitality, but the education?
Well, tourism is anything. I
Right.
mean, you think about what we're looking at as far as travel. I mean, you can do anything. So that's an option. It's just focusing on the business side as a career, like what they can do with tourism. So obviously, those are things we'll look at, because when we think of, I told some of the students the other day, they were asking questions about the course, and I explained to them that think about you sitting down with a client and what types of things they want to do on vacation. So they're going to explore many facets of what somebody would do on vacation, so that is something probably that will come up.
Just so you know, if they have a need to talk to someone who works at a museum,
Yeah.
they might know
Oh,
somebody.
that's like yeah. Yes, I encourage all people who would like to participate as guest speakers. That would be wonderful. Or field trips.
Great. Anyone else? Fantastic.
Thank you.
We're working down the list. Next would be the personal finance and econ proposal. You want to go to Anna?
Anna, go next.
Okay. You need more time to gather your thoughts?
It's tough following these people.
You should have gone first.
So this is about
The bar's so low, yeah.
art department changes, and Anna Lacey. Now, I may be the senior member here, and I'm having a little trouble hearing, so that's
Okay.
not that just projects to the streaming, and it doesn't amplify your voice. So use your big outside voice.
Okay. I'm Anna Lacey. I'm one of the high school art teachers. So my proposals are just some changes to current art classes. What I'm looking at is taking some existing classes and combining them. So currently we offer a full semester of drawing and a full semester of painting. And I find that students get a little sick of doing the same thing again and again, like painting after painting after painting. So I did some surveys with my current students just to kind of get a feel for maybe what they would be more interested in. So I am proposing taking some of these separate classes and combining them so that there will be a little more variety to them and kind of just something fresh, something a little new, a new opportunity for the kids. Even though the class, which would be 2D art and design, will still essentially cover both bases, it'll just do it in one class instead of two separate. Especially if I have kids who only get to take maybe one art class in high school, this gives just a little bit more of a broad experience. And then the other proposal is I currently teach a printmaking class, which I love and students love. But again, with that one, it feels like there needs to be a little more in there. And I have a lot of students who are interested in fiber art, so weaving, felting, just different kind of textile-based art, which is something we don't have currently. So this would combine my current printmaking, or not combine, but it would add fiber arts into my current printmaking class. So it would kind of be a dual art medium class. And then the rest of my classes are staying the same. So we'll still have Art 1, we'll still have sculpture, and an AP art class. And I'm excited to try some new things with the kids and kind of look at things with fresh eyes.
Great.
Do the annual costs for this just replace the existing? Do we already have annual costs for the art classes? So is this kind of a net neutral?
Yes, yes. I don't anticipate any different budget needs.
Good. Any other questions for Anna Lacy? Okay. Thank you very much, and
Yeah.
it's
Thank you.
wonderful to see you respond to what you see the needs of the students and what they're interested in, and that you're willing to adapt. That's marvelous. I have to tell you, I'm still bitter about the fact that in my 7th grade art class, I got a C. So I went to the teacher and sat down with the teacher, and the teacher said, well, what do you think of the stuff that you did? Do you think it was pretty average? And I went, yeah, you're right. The only C I ever got. I think you're up now, Mr. Brush.
Well, I'm coming with a proposal more for a change of credits at the high school. The state is now requiring personal finance for all graduates, starting with the class of 2028. And they gave us a few different options. The option we thought fit our students best was to embed it into econ class. And so what we have to do to make this work is we have to change the name of our economics class, and then we have to change the number of credits that it is. So students already have a lot of these standards embedded into econ, but now Kyle, who's coaching, that's why he's not here tonight, is going to make sure that the 6 standards the state has identified is embedded in econ. Students will get a credit instead of a half credit for personal economics. And it'll only carry a half a credit weight for their GPA. Students still can take personal finance their senior year for the whole year, but this will allow students some flexibility their senior year if they want to take a CTE class as a 4th related math and not to have to take personal finance as well.
And Adam, as we discussed, how would this appear on a student's transcript? Would it be listed as one course, or would they both be?
So it'll be on the transcript, it'll say because of characters like econ and personal econ.
And rather than the old 0.5, it's going to say 1. So essentially, 24 credits to graduate. We're looking at a change to that would go to 24 and a half for
Yeah.
the class of 2028 to start.
Yep, and
Okay.
so our current sophomores, Kyle piloted the standards this year just because we wanted to make sure we had enough time, especially when you look at AP Econ. They're not embedded in AP Econ, that's from the College Board. So he's gonna do that after the AP exam and just see how much time he has left. And if he needs to get a little bit more time at the beginning, he can, but he's hoping he can do it after the AP exam.
So personal finance is a current course you offer, that's going to continue to be offered?
That'll continue to be offered for the full year for seniors that choose. But also seniors might take stats, they might take calc, they could take Karen's class, they could take Matt's class, they could take all sorts of Justin's.
Will this count as towards math requirements at all?
No, it's still gonna be part, it's almost like a separate state requirement. You have to have personal finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
And if someone were to pass the economics part but fail the personal finance section, not master those 6 standards, they would have to take the full year course their senior year.
Ooh, you better get that right.
I know. That's true.
Okay.
Nice.
Questions?
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You did okay. Next on the
Just
agenda
okay.
is the VMS trip to Cedar Point. Allison?
Yep, so this is just to get your approval for our annual senior Cedar Point trip that we take our 8th graders on every year. It would be June 8th. Approximate cost $125, which includes transportation, tickets, and things to the park. And then we always accept donations. But since we're taking them out of state, we always just need to ask that permission and get approval for it.
Yeah, I believe the board policy is anything out of state requires approval. In-state stuff doesn't come to us, just so you know. Okay, and that's on the agenda later, yes, 4G. Okay, any questions for Allison? Okay. All right, so Allison and Joe, you're going to present about the middle school. Should we all sit out here?
Probably, yeah,
Okay.
it'd be a little easier for you.
Okay.
He's gonna slouch down now.
I can see, I can see. Sorry about that. Maybe this should go in the budget, for the bond, we need to hire some.
I would say we need the stadium seating.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you everybody for coming this evening. If we get a little too quiet, just let us know and we'll be sure to speak louder. But this evening we're proud to present the 25-26 report for Vicksburg Middle School. First off, we want to thank many of our local sponsors. We cannot do this work alone. Local businesses like Jasper's Pizza, Leicester Exteriors, our generous families and churches, our community continuously shows up for our staff and students in meaningful ways. They support us through different treats and ongoing encouragement all the time. The Bond Project, as you can see there, that's the entrance to our 7th grade hallway down into the gym there as you walk in for different games. Our walk-off carpet is kind of a cool new thing with the Bulldog logo there. That's one of the many upgrades that we received this summer. We've got new flooring, paint, ceiling tiles, lights. We finished up with the AC. So we're super excited about that and thankful for the Bond projects for that. On the upper right, you see a group of us. We had the opportunity through the Innovation Grant to go to Detroit for a PLC conference for 3 days, which was amazing and really set the tone for the year, and you'll see that throughout the presentation. On the lower right, Mr. Duncan is there with Southern Michigan Bank and Trust. And through their commitment supporting Go Red for Women event, they donated CPR kits. And Mr. Duncan is teaching our 7th graders who would like to learn during tutorial how to do CPR on the CPR dummies. So we thank them for donating those for us as well.
Through donations from our Walking the Dogs event, our community contributed over $15,000 of funds that provide students with enriching community field trips to places like Gilbert and Ivy Bookstore, the Historical Museum, Stryker, and the Nathan House. So you see Gilbert and Ivy's picture there on the top left. Then moving left to right in the middle there, we have our Minds in Motion class at the Historical Village. The larger picture on the right, I hope I say this right, Zoha Beauty, or is it Zoja Beauty? The Minds in Motion class also visited there. In the bottom left, we take up to 100 7th and 8th grade girls to Stryker for women in science and engineering fields. And then next to that, Mr. Brussi took his history through film class to the Nathan House. In addition, our students benefit from strong collaboration across grade levels. We partnered with our elementary and high school buildings for the community food drive, just pictured there. On the left, you can see our middle schooler kids help loading food onto the bus out in front of the middle school. And our band students had opportunities to engage with the high school band and participate in shared learning experiences that strengthen connections across our district.
Something else that was really cool, if you follow us on Facebook, you probably saw this, but this is Blake Jastifer, and I asked him, he came down, his ticket got drawn the other day for being responsible, safe, and supportive. I was like, hey Blake, come here, I gotta show you something. Pulled him into my office, he's like, oh boy, what'd I do? I said, hey, I wanna show you. He said, I'm gonna highlight you at the board presentation Monday night. If you're okay with this, he's like, yeah. So Blake is an Eagle Scout. Well, this was his Eagle Scout project. If you didn't see it, what he did was created and installed educational signage at our outdoor education center and created a life-size 3D printed mute swan nest and model that stays out there. So, you know, this project just kind of exemplifies the leadership and the hands-on learning that we strive for here at the middle school. Along the left-hand side of our library here, you'll also see some hands-on learning. Our social studies department every year sponsors the monument making contest, and every year about this time we have them in here. We have not announced the winners yet, so I'm not going to say which one is the winner. But our students work really hard on picking a monument within the time frame that they study, researching it and presenting it as part of their challenge points. So this is on their own. They take the initiative to create some of these amazing pieces. So at the end, if you get a chance, you can read about the different pieces that they have created. All right, so kind of getting into the meat of the presentation tonight. Those of you who are in the classrooms or have been in the classrooms know that we start in our classrooms with learning targets. So we kind of set where is it that we're going, and we hope we get there by the end of the lesson. So our learning target tonight is that we hope you will have a clear understanding of how we work here at the middle school to support the diverse needs of our students in our building.
So at the core of our operation is the professional learning community framework. We focus on 3 non-negotiables: ensuring all students learn, building a collaborative culture with collective responsibility, and maintaining a results orientation. This means we don't work in silos, we use high-performing teams and shared data to ensure every child succeeds. And thank you to the Innovation Grant and Board for allowing us to go to the PLC conference last summer in Detroit. It really set the groundwork for what we're doing this year. So, why is the framework so critical right now? Recent NWA studies show a significant learning loss gap. We don't use NWA here, we use the iReady, which is comparable. But these results across all diagnostic testing, nationally, middle schoolers are showing the slowest progress towards recovery. On average, students need over 4 additional months of reading and math instruction to reach pre-pandemic proficiency. We are fighting against disengagement and absenteeism to close those gaps.
So not only that, but we're also facing external challenges. So this is another study that was done by teachershortages.com that was presented to us at our PLC conference. And when you look at this, we look at nationwide, as of March 22nd of 2025, there were close to 50,000 teaching vacancies across the nation. 404 were filled with underqualified employees, and this is highly concentrated in districts that are urban and rural. To further that, the decline in teacher enrollment in college over the last decade has significantly declined. That blue line is the number of students that enter a college preparatory class for teaching, and the red line is how many actually graduate. By the time they graduate, about 75% of our teachers are going into teaching by the time they graduate college. So this just goes to show that at VMS, we need to create a culture where teachers want to be. We want to create one of a shared mission and vision, and making sure that we retain our amazing staff.
Collective responsibility is one of our 3 pillars of our PLC, and to us, one of the most important. We can't do it alone. We need to be intentional about how we collaborate. Our staff is actually really good about collaborating behind our backs. Unbeknownst to us, they made a dress-up day that was like JCPenney portrait, where we all wear denim and black. But what we didn't realize is what they were doing is they were all getting together in groups in their PLC teams and taking fun pictures together to make Allison and I some sweet calendars that are hanging up in our office. But each month being a different department. It was just a really fun thing that they did for us.
So our mission here at VMS is to work collaboratively, take collective responsibility for our student learning. We're not just teaching, we're monitoring our students' learning through formative assessments, through ongoing feedback, and so students can take their own ownership of their growth and of their learning. So we talked about being very intentional, and through the use of our PLC time and our tutorial schedule, that's exactly what we've aimed to do this year. So this is just I'm going to explain it, kind of looks wonky there, but each department has a day that they plan together. They all have the common planning time. The following day is when their priority/tutorial day is. And what they do when they are in that meeting time, they're very intentional about collaborating, talking about what they taught, talking about what worked, what didn't work, what students might need some additional help, which students can go above and beyond. And then they stamp the students to say the next day during tutorial, you need to come and see me so I can help you on these things. Now when our teachers do that, they also have a class of 25. So if they're stamping students, 5, 10, 15 students, they don't have space for them. So Joe and I, every day, we take the kids down to the cafeteria that are not needing those stamps, so our teachers can have that very intentional time to work with students on what they might need at that point in time.
We are also intentional about having fun, as you saw on the earlier slide, but we also work in teams during many of our meetings. We all depend on each other to do our job well. So our last staff meeting before our holiday break, we had a gingerbread making contest. As you see, some were successful, some were not. You see those pictured in the middle. They, I believe, got the most votes, despite Mr. Deal eating about 25% of their materials. Social Studies is claiming they won, but they voted for themselves multiple times, so the verdict's still up in the air there, but our ones in the middle there, they were able to win, even though Mr. Deal was very hungry.
So another pillar of our PLC process is a focus on learning. And within that pillar, we're focusing on the balanced and coherent assessment system. So in order to develop that system, we need to be really clear on what we're teaching every day. So what are those essential standards? What are we assessing? What are we expecting students to master before they leave our classrooms? Part of that balanced and coherent assessment system integrates that formative feedback, which is ongoing, and summative, which is that end of unit testing, to complete that picture of the student for their learning, to help our teachers guide their instruction, and to ensure accountability for all.
To support this, a balanced and coherent assessment system will utilize multi-tiered systems of instruction. We use formative assessments to discuss student progress daily and adjust our instruction in real time. For example, the picture on the left is a version of all the essential standards that we expect students to know and students' names. Teachers use these documents to check who is proficient on which standard and who they may need to intervene with. This is a process that we focus on during our PLC meetings. On the right is an example of our iReady assessment data that we use to determine if students need additional support through our ELO classes.
You can't really see that very well, but we'll talk about iReady in just a little bit. But those 3 dots that you can see, the little blue ones, are meaning 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And they are all in a quadrant to the far right, which means high performing and high growth. and that happened for math and reading when we tested our students in the winter.
The third pillar of the PLC process is results orientation. We all own the data. As you can see, we were awarded one of the best middle schools by U.S. News and World Reports again this year. We ranked 196th in Michigan out of over 1,900 schools. We are up from 230th the year prior.
So as we look at several key metrics to measure success, we look at M-STEP results, iReady growth, essential standard proficiency, attendance, and perception data. The picture here is what I was talking about earlier when our staff meet in their PLCs and they're very intentional about collaborating. This is the form that they use to talk about students. They talk about what is it that we want our students to learn, how will we know if they've learned it, what are we going to do if they haven't learned it, and what are we going to do for those students who have already learned it. So as they work their way through this, the teachers look at what was the essential standard that they were assessing, which students might need some recovery, what is that recovery going to consist of, and who's going to be doing it. So it's a very intentional piece that our staff use when they're having those discussions around our students and making sure that they are giving our students exactly what they need when they need it. So earlier, you saw the picture of all the standards that we had them taped to the wall. Tape doesn't stick super well to cinder block and things fall off, so we created a digital template of that same thing. So imagine on the left-hand side is a student's name, and along the top, that's the coding for the essential standard. So what this looks like is a teacher might be teaching that RL 6.1 standard, and they're assessing it. They look at those results and they say, okay, this student has it, this one doesn't. If they don't have it, it's red. If they have it, it's green. So they immediately know, all right, in that first column, I've got 9 students that didn't master that standard yet. What am I going to do? How am I going to adjust my instruction? How are we going to intervene? You see the third column over is all red. They just haven't taught that standard yet. And then on the far right, you can see only 1 student didn't get it. So that might just be a quick conversation with that student. So our teachers are starting to use this. It's brand new this year, so it's something that some departments are using a little more, and others we're trying to figure it out how it best fits within our practice. But this is just something that's an example of if we're saying this is a standard that our students need to know before they leave us, this is how we're going to know they've mastered it. So it's kind of going back to that daily piece of knowing what we're teaching and making sure our students are understanding it before we go on. So as we look at the iReady reading growth data, and again, I apologize if the board, I can send this to you if you haven't received it yet, but the darker lines are the most recent iReady tests. We have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and this is for reading. And directly beneath that is the beginning of the year. What we want to see is more green and less red. And as you can see, there's more green and less red for every grade for reading, meaning what we're doing in our classrooms is working. Our students are understanding. We still have room to grow, but they're growing, and we're making sure that that's happening in math as well. As you can see, the red is getting smaller, the green is getting bigger in each of those categories.
Getting into the M-STEP data, we looked at schools that were similar to us. The schools that we recognize is Plainville Middle School, Edwardsburg Middle School, Otsego, and Portage North Middle School. There were other schools listed on that list, but those are the ones that were closest to us. For our ELA, you can see we were at 56% compared to the average similar school at 55%, and the state was at 46%. And then math, we were at 41% compared to 40% of schools similar to us and 34% for the state of Michigan. So as you can see, we are outperforming the averages of schools similar to us and as well as the state average.
If we look at our PSAT 8-9 scores from the spring, our is the very, very top one. But we are up 20 points higher than we were last year, and we're outperforming the state and the national average on the PSAT 8-9.
Even though our attendance is pretty good, we can still get better. According to Education Week, these are the top reasons that students are missing school: bad weather, anxiety, overslept, and depressed. Before COVID, we sat at about 96.48%, and then while we dipped to 90 during the pandemic, we have rebounded to 94.78. We are trending in the right direction, but we continue to push for that pre-pandemic standard. And I put a note on there as well, too, where we're at today. Our goal is to get to 95% for this school year. So far, we're at 94.87%, and I have a breakdown per grade level there. We meet weekly to talk about some of our more chronic absentee kids. Every Monday, myself, Allison, Mr. Hinga, and Mrs. Curtis, we sit down, try to come up with a plan of how we can get some of these kids to school that have been missing more frequently. When we look at the academic data, we also need to consider the child as an individual with other needs and support the whole child. We still use our Positivity Project to talk about character strengths. We use panorama data to focus on some targeted instruction. And we use our need to talk to someone form to make sure every student has a way to be heard. Recently, we have taken some of the panorama data and perception survey data and are having student focus group. We are asking them to provide feedback to use on growth mindset, as students report that being one of the biggest areas of need for them.
So in tying it all together, whether it's through SEL initiatives, we have monthly celebrations, our athletics, tutorial, ELO periods, everything that we do is designed to support the whole child. We have various clubs that happen after school. We even have students who come to us wanting to create clubs. Mr. Bondick, who left, we have a student that is part of the robotics team, and he has been coming to us the last few days. He really wants to open up a store because he has been creating many fidget spinners with his 3D printer and wants to start selling them. I'm like, buddy, I'm so proud of you and your entrepreneurship, but can't be selling them here at school. But we'll find an avenue for you. Yeah. But ultimately, the best way to see if those supports are working is to listen to our students. So these were just some student comments. I'm not going to sit and read them all to you. That when Mr. Hinga and Mrs. Curtis do our minute meetings with our students, these are some of the comments. So they tell us that they feel safe, they love the freedom and responsibility of middle school, and they appreciate the kindness of their teachers. One student even noted they just love everything. It's a whole new experience. Teachers are extra nice, food is extra good. They're meeting so many new friends and making some awesome new memories. So I thought that kind of summed up, some of the feelings of our kids, which makes us very happy. So kind of going back to the beginning, our learning target here was that you have an understanding of how the middle school operates to best support the needs of all of our students. So in summary, it's all about the culture and the collective responsibility here at VMS. We are all in this together to serve our students and our families. What questions might you have?
We probably ought to go back up front if you want to ask questions, so the last year can do it too.
Should I start the timer?
So thank you very much for that presentation. When you talked about the student who said everything is 10 times better than elementary, my first reaction was, they want to borrow the car? Or, what are they after? Do anybody have any questions for Allison and Joe, or comments, or any feedback?
How's the cell phone
It has
update
been
going?
so much better.
Yes.
We know that they're still around. I think one of the biggest things is parents at times, want to say, well, my student is going to have their phone, whether
Sure.
they want it or not. And we talk them through that and kind of our reasoning and things, but the I guess I want to say drama has been far less.
Yes.
We get
Good.
so many less reports of saying, so-and-so said this about me last night on TikTok, or did
Yep.
this or did that. We hardly, knock on wood,
Yes.
have that. So it's been good. Yep. And teachers, I believe, have not had an issue in the classrooms either. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Allison, and Joe have a question. So Keevan gave us some, like the iReady data
Yeah.
in a meeting, it's almost 3 weeks ago. And I was looking at it also on the website for middle school. So, like at the beginning of the year, I could pull up, but these numbers might not be exact. But beginning of the year, sixth grade reading, the students at 22%, or the 22% of the kids are proficient. Does that mean they're proficient at where they should be at the beginning of sixth grade, or they already are proficient
Yep, so
for
at that
sixth
moment
grade?
in time, so with iReady, I don't know if you saw there was green, yellow, and red. So in the beginning of the year, seeing yellow is great, because what that means is if a sixth grader is coming in and they take that iReady test right in the fall, we want them testing at fifth grade level. That yellow is one grade level below. We want them testing because they haven't learned anything from
Okay.
sixth grade yet.
Gotcha.
So at the beginning of the year, having 20% already proficient in those sixth grade standards is even better.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
okay, I get it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anything else? I really appreciate, I think one of the main roles of a principal is to create a culture for the building where your staff wants to be there, and more importantly, your students want to be there. And you're very creative in accomplishing that. And I think you're to be commended for that. That's marvelous. And there's a certain amount of goofiness, I think, that you have to pull that off.
I'm telling you, it's the best place
Teach
to be.
middle school.
So thank you very much. Any other questions, comments, concerns that people have? If not, we'll move on. Okay. Thank you very much, Allison and Joe. I know that's a fair amount of work for you to do. Our next agenda item is for public comment. Meetings of the board are open to the public. It is the time the board conducts the business of governing the school system in the public arena. This is not intended as a meeting with the public with ongoing dialogue. Staff may follow up with you regarding issues raised during comment time. Please exercise decorum and respect laws regarding privacy and defamation. Please do not refer to students by name. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and what I typically do is I give the gavel to Tamara. So she will time you and will give you 1 tap when you have 10 seconds to go and 2 taps when your time is up, and that allows me to fully give you my attention and not stare at a timer. So we have, I believe, 2 people who wanted to address the board. The first would be Brian Davis. And if you would go, oh, you're going to move the microphone?
They did up here, right up here.
Oh, right up here. Okay, great, yeah. Now, it doesn't amplify your voice, but it makes it for the live stream.
Fair enough.
Okay?
I see in tonight's meeting, we have a shared responsibility across the entire staff on the education of the students. It's good to see, but tonight I'm going to focus my efforts on safety. And I am going to mention one student's name, and it's because I'm okay with that. I'm here tonight as a family advocate for my granddaughter, Evelina Cassiano, a former 4th grade student at Indian Lake Elementary. I'm here to address a violent assault on the school bus Friday, January 9th, 2026. While Evie was riding the bus and seated with her friend, they were approached by another 4th grade student who began squeezing the girls in the seat. When Evie asked him to move, he reached out and began choking her. While she was gasping for air, the student told her to breathe and proceeded to choke her 2 more times. Her friend witnessed the attack and stated that Evie's face turned completely red. Before the encounter ended, the boy threatened to do it again if she told anyone. Immediately upon her return home, it was evident Evie was traumatized. She experienced uncontrollable crying, a complete disassociation from her environment, and very disoriented. The Monday following the assault, the transportation director confirmed the video from the bus shows Evie being choked 3 separate times over a 90-second duration, and admitted they were unable to see her face. A formal notice was submitted to preserve this footage. Shortly following, the principal called to discuss the matter and assured the family that the staff would keep an eye on him. 4 days after the assault, a physician confirmed that Evie sustained soft tissue trauma and documented injuries consistent with manual strangulation. The day following, a police report was filed by the parents. A request was made to the principal that a definitive safety plan be put in place would keep Evie separated from the student. 6 days after the assault, she was forced within shoulder's length of him in the hallway. Mind you, this was only 3 days after the principal was assured that staff would keep him separated. Evie made comments to her mother while in tears. I had to hurry back to my locker when I saw him. My heart beats fast when I see him, and I don't think anyone even noticed. The principal was made aware of this incident, and her response to the parent was that Evie could wait in the office until the hallway clears and that she needs strategies and should learn to self-advocate. This approach shifts the entire burden of the safety onto Evie rather than the district's professionals and the offending student. After the incident, the offending student was removed from the bus for 1 week. When he was allowed to return to the bus, there was no protocol put in place to keep them separated, which resulted in an incident where Evie became very uncomfortable with the space between them. Evie has suffered from nightmares and constant daily thoughts that have distracted her from her schoolwork and leading a normal life. She was taken back to the doctor and diagnosed with anxiety and acute stress reaction. On January 23rd, a Freedom of Information Act request was placed by the parents. Directly following, on January 27th, the family received a proactive safety plan. This document was dated January 19th and logged actions that did not occur until January 21st. That, of course, is not possible. Furthermore, the document contained word-for-word subtitles of the protocols that the mother requested on January 20th. Not only was this a fabrication of a safety record, an attempt to deceive the parents into believing the school was being proactive, it's against the law. Based on these events, the parents had declined to request to sit down privately, as it was clear that any conversation not formally documented was not in their best interest. Because this district prioritized administrative convenience over student safety, these parents have been forced to withdraw all of their 3 children from the Vicksburg School District. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear. This was not your typical incident of bullying. This was one human being strangulated by another to the point of not breathing. Now ask yourselves, if these were adults in the workplace, how would this have been handled? We are demanding answers to the following questions from the board.
Well, sir, you can address that directly with our administration. Your time is up. That is an area that.
Sir, if I could just take these 5 bullet points that I'm going to need from the board, then I'm done.
You could provide those to us if you'd like.
I'm going to read them. It's that, or this entire folder goes to the media, because I'm done fooling around. Would you like me to finish it, my expectations, and then you can dissect this in this folder? Or would you like me to just continue on myself?
Issues related to safety are issues that the administration and they are very important, but they're not issues when we get into the nitty-gritty of what should be done for a student. That has to be dealt with the people that know the people's involved.
Your point's valid, and if I could hit these 5 things, I think I'm going to answer some of that.
Well,
because this is not just pertaining to one student.
I'll give you 1 more minute, sir.
1 more minute, that's all I need. Thank you.
Okay, we'll make it quick.
1, why is the victim or her family forced to uproot their lives while the offending child's life resumes as normal? 2, due to the nature of this incident that a 4th grader choked another human being and had it in him to say, breathe, and then go back to choking again is a clear sign of concerns for this child. Why was CPS not immediately notified of these severe environmental indicators? Thirdly, why did the school assume that a student of this type of behavior has or will only have 1 victim? Why was he not immediately separated from the student body to ensure safety of all the children? 4th, while the school did offer counseling, we question why there was no attempt to provide specialized trauma intervention for the victim and formal behavioral intervention for the attacker. Lastly, under Michigan law, schools must maintain a log of all physical violence. Why was this and other critical documents withheld from the FOIA request? Finally, I'm requesting a full investigation of the school safety protocols and a comprehensive report on the measures that will be taken to ensure the safety of all the children going forward. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Dusty Morse.
First of all, just on a personal note, I'd like to thank you, Dave, for your comment on the culture at the middle school. I'd like to second that. We are thankful for Allison and Joe. So, hello again. I'm Dusty Morris, president of VEA, and on behalf of the Vicksburg Education Association, I am happy to mention the excellence of the following teachers in service of our students. So, Tamara, thank you to you for offering the great opportunity of Battle of the Books. And Indian Lake wanted to be proud of their first and second place teams. Apparently, this is the first time they've ever achieved first and second place, and that was under the coaching of Savannah McDowell, teacher there at Indian Lake. As Kevin mentioned, it's homecoming week, and we had the semi-formal last Saturday, and there's homecoming festivities going on all week. Maddie Taft and Patrick Dunham are teachers, let's see, that's English and social studies at the high school, who are responsible for doing all of that planning and doing all of those events. And in addition to that, held a blood drive today, which was staffed by Student Senate. Like, they didn't have anything else going on this week. Amanda Swan at Sunset is coordinating another First Day Shoe Fund. You heard about this before, where hundreds of pairs of shoes were delivered so kids would have new shoes to wear to school. And as Kevin mentioned, that Kalamazoo Symphony Orchestra event tomorrow, that's spearheaded by Patty Heinzelman, and the other fine arts teachers, including myself and Anna Lacey, who you heard from earlier, are all participating in that. We will have elementary, middle school, and high school students all performing alongside the professionals from the Kalamazoo Symphony Orchestra. So I think that's pretty cool. So again, thank you all for helping me celebrate these outstanding and hardworking teachers.
Thank you, Mr. Morse. So we'll move on to board action required. Item 4A is approval of the following board minutes. We have minutes from the 12th of January and the 19th. I should mention that the minutes from the 19th include both an open session and a closed session, and we did correct the closed session to make it clear that Mr. O'Neill was present for his mid-year evaluation. So I need a motion.
Motion.
For
Second.
motion by Lucas, second by Tina. All in favor?
I have
Aye.
a
Oh,
conversation.
yeah.
For the minutes from January 19th and 2B, it says a 4-2 roll call vote. Should that not be a 5-2?
I'm sorry.
So for January 19th, board action required for superintendent compensation. It says motion passed with a 4-2 roll call vote. Shouldn't that be 5-2? We were all here.
Yeah, that's correct.
Where is it, 4-2,
Right
which
here.
one?
2B.
2B.
2B?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for catching that. Okay.
Yep, got it.
So we have a motion and a second. Are you okay with that correction
Yes.
of
I just wanted to
5-2
put
there?
that-
Lucas, you made the motion.
Motion with the amendment.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
Second
Tina?
that then.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 4B is approval to ratify the tentative labor agreement between the Board of Education of Vicksburg Community Schools and the VEA for the year 25-26 and 26-27 school year.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
support by Rick. Discussion?
Congratulations. Can we say that yet?
I think so. All right, Stephanie?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And Dave, yes. Thank you for, I know, lots of meetings between Dusty and Kevin and Steve. And so I think, yeah, yeah. And I think it's nice to have a result that everybody's pleased with.
Great.
So, thank you. We now move on to items 4C, D, E, F, and G. If these are all the course changes, we can take those one at a time if you desire.
I would take G out. That's the Cedar Point trip.
Right, yeah, C, D, E, and F are the course changes. If you're comfortable taking those all as a group, you heard the presentations tonight. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
support by Lisa. Any discussion about that?
I think that there should be some kind of art fair because there's things that I would like 3D printed and cut out of steel and knitted. So, can we do that? Let's have
You
an
can
art fair.
talk. Yeah.
Kevin, since these are most of these are like CTE type classes, there's no conflict with the KRESA?
No. We can offer CT courses, state-coded courses, as long as the agreement with the CT centers that there's no, we can't offer courses that they do.
Okay.
And these are not offered there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other comment? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to
We're
item
not supposed
4.
to do a roll call?
No, that,
Not on that.
that didn't require a roll
Oh,
call.
that was a labor, sorry. I can't read, my glasses off.
Item 4G is approval of the middle school trip to Cedar Point.
So moved.
Support.
I'll support that.
Okay, Rick and Tina?
No more snow days.
No more snow
No more
days.
snow.
I'll make a motion, you guys just go.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to item 4H. We have first reading approval of the following policies, Policy 1430 and Policy 3430. And they're actually the same verbiage applying to two different employee groups, and they're related to earned sick time. So I think since they're the same verbiage, we could take those together with the board's approval.
So moved.
Moved by Lisa, second by Lucas. And this does require a roll call vote. Any questions, comments before? Okay. Stephanie?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. Item 4I is a second reading approval of the following policies. All policy changes are procedures to have 2 readings to give people a chance to make sure if anybody was absent in a meeting, to make sure that people are comfortable with policy changes. So we have policy 2266, 4162, 5517.01, 8300, 8305, and 9130. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Tina, support by Stephanie. Questions, comments? Okay, Stephanie?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. So those all pass. And with that, I believe we are adjourned. Thank you so much for hosting us and for